Right, you're really getting the beginning of things. Here, this is the orchestra needs to set up from here to that wall. So in 2018, I was looking for a choir and orchestra piece to do. And I was always looking at the great composers, I was like, maybe we can do a Bach, or we can do a Haydn or Mozart or Beethoven. So I was looking at things to do, and then I said like, well, I'm also gonna check those modern composers because I know they're great. I heard a piece called Requiem for the Living by Dan Forrest. I was like, oh man, this is the work, we gotta do this, this is amazing. And then someone said, why don't you invite Dan Forrest to come? And I was like, I don't know if he's gonna come to this. And I thought a little bit, I said like, I can always ask. So I emailed him, told what was going on, that we wanted to bring him to town. And he said like, well, right now I'm composing a new work. Would you be interested in taking a look? So he sent me drafts of the creation. I think he said like last year in October, he said like, I will have the orchestration done by October. He said that he was interested in coming to San Angelo, it would be great, but he would really commit if we decided to do his new work. And then I said like, okay, we'll do that.
Whenever we first started having rehearsals, I was shocked whenever I pulled into the parking lot and there's buses and all the parking lot was taken, and there's like so many choirs, and it's definitely a big ordeal, but it's been so exciting overall to hear everyone in such a grand performance.
I don't know how to describe it. It's so much more than just...
It's better than high school.
Yeah.
Seeing everybody get together from ASU to Howard and then back to like high schools in Central, I think it's nice seeing everybody get together and just make music.
Yeah, because we wanted a big choir. And I said the only way to get a big choir is to combine choirs. So we have a big choir, 140 people. I found that First Presbyterian Church has a bell choir, and then they were excited to join us. But there are so many people here on the stage of the Murphy that we even built an extension to be able to fit the bell choir because there's no space. Our soloists are almost like falling off the edge. Good evening. Good evening. Guys, I'm very, very excited for us to be finally all together here in this room. Let's dive in and let's do this from the top. Movement 1.
This 12-minute work really calls for this huge setup, and it's totally amazing. It's so fun to play with, but we've never had this large of a setup, especially in orchestra, where normally it's more focused on the strings and the wind players that are there. Even for that, we've never had something like this, and so getting to play all these amazing instruments and getting to just play with the choir, with the handbells, and with the orchestra and everything, it's super awesome.
It's just been an amazing experience being able to play with so many different types of people, especially choir. I've never played with choir before. So the whole experience has just been super, super mind-boggling and wonderful.
I need to be able to share my vision with the people so they get involved to participate in the end project. And I still think that most people don't, until it's very close to, they don't realize like how big we were thinking the event should be. And in this case, build up to be like perfect.
if they look, they might see the handbells doing their funky singing bell thing, kind of stir in the mixer here. And, yeah.
I'm Dan Forrest. I'm the composer of the Creation Oratorio that we're performing this weekend. Wayne Oratorio Society had an anniversary that they wanted to commission a big piece for. So they asked me to write a large piece, and they didn't really have specifications about what the text would be. They wanted it to be kind of concert length. In terms of creating it, it was almost 2 years of work, from initial trying to figure out what the libretto, the words would be, and how it would all work together, to the very end when it was all fully edited and written in all the different versions. So it's a lot. Inspiration for me as a choral composer is often textual, because I'm not just writing kind of abstract ideas musically. I have some text that I'm trying to put across effectively, and I want it to become lifelike and vivid in the listener's ears and in their imagination, so that they can sort of see what the text is saying. It's interesting because if I'm setting like a Kyrie or Lord have mercy, or some Latin text liturgically, or some hymn text or something, a lot of times there's ideas there, or a narrative or a story, but not necessarily something so visual. But this creation work was much more visual, because I'm literally writing movements about things, you know, that the garden, or the skies at night with the constellations moving, or light shining, or the, you know, animals coming to life, or all these things. So yeah, this almost feels like I sort of say it's like my soundtrack to my imaginary Planet Earth movie, like to where you see all the goodness of creation and all these things coming together and coming to life, and then celebrating for joy.
Thanks for being here, everybody. This will be the 4th performance of this work that I've heard. So a lot of times people kind of put composers up on a pedestal, like, oh wow, we couldn't have this if it weren't for you, you know. And when I sit out here in a rehearsal and a performance, I look at the stage and think, I couldn't have this if it weren't for you. So we're working together on this, and thank you for bringing life back to these notes so that we can share it with the audience Sunday. It's a joy to be here with you. Thanks.
It was really interesting to hear how like someone like him, who's like done all this stuff, he himself is his biggest critique too, like just like how I am. So
something that he's been saying all week that I've really been enjoying is how he says that the paper that we have, the books that we have, isn't the music. What we do is the music, and that has really stuck with me this weekend.
I've enjoyed how unique like every movement is. It's like different from the rest, and how all like pieces of all the orchestra, like the choir and the bells, everything ties together.
I am so excited for this work. Like, it is truly something special that the entire world absolutely needs to hear.
Since Dan arrived, he kind of like energized the process, you know, and he added a little dimension to what we were doing. And I think we're all excited to share the music now that we've worked so much. Yeah.
There's so much going on, and on top of that, it's also ASU's homecoming weekend, and I'm a part of the marching band as well. So not only have we been preparing for this wonderful concert, but the marching band's been dedicating our time for that. So it's just been a lot stacked on top of each other.
There's been a lot of different like stuff that I've been involved in with like all region auditions and a concert earlier this month, and like chamber orchestra at Central. So it's like managing everything and being able to make time to practice for everything.
it's been hard to just keep up with some of the harder ones. The hardest one in general for me is either the 9th movement, which is Deep Blue, or the last one, which is Boundless, and there's just some pretty challenging stuff. So mostly just what is written on the page has been really hard.
We'll be watching you doing that one.
Brooks, this is the movement with the narration, okay? And I don't know if we can also test the lights. This is movement 11.
Probably the hardest piece I've ever played. It's so long. I zone out. You're just playing, and you don't really know how long you're playing for until you've stopped, and then you're like, wow, that was a lot.
There's kind of an endurance issue if you're not careful, especially in the violins. They're very active throughout it, not a lot of time to rest. And I think just the scope of it for the choir as well is a challenge to learn that much music in time for a performance.
Two things. One, 9 to 5. Timpani and brass. We need to keep the tempo a little more. They are holding a long note and it's really loud.
And then there's a challenge for the conductor as well, like holding together all of this stuff, all these movements that have to fit together, and the tempo of each movement and the pacing of it so that it doesn't feel like we're just burning through it, but it doesn't feel like it gets kind of laggy either. You know, that's a pretty big challenge to pace it all correctly.
And we're all under different direction. So like the ASU's under the direction of Dr. Posada, and then high school, Central is under the direction of their conductor, and Howard's under their conductor. And then now we're all coming under Dr. Rocha, which like they'll have different conducting styles, or they do different things that mean different things. And I think it's all us coming together as one, just learning under Dr. Rocha and like piecing it all together.
The most challenging thing would have to be following the music along as we're playing, going from instrument to instrument. So we're not just watching our instrument or whatever we're playing, we're watching the music and Dr. Rocha and listening. So it's a lot of multitasking and everything. So it's definitely a challenge, but still, you know, always so awesome, so fun.
This movement, after 10 movements, and he was telling us that in the lecture, after 10 movements, God creates us. That's the high point of creation, is movement 10. And it's also one of the most beautiful movements there. Whenever we have
First time I heard it, I literally cried because how beautiful the sound was. It just reminded me of how much I love music, and doing it with everybody else, it will never get old and it will always be a special memory.
It's honestly kind of breathtaking. My personal favorite is the beginning because it comes from nothing. And growing up, I was raised in the church, and you know, that's how it was. We came from nothing. So being able to portray that through music is really cool to me.
I also try to not be emotional about the music because I don't want to get lost myself in weeping. And even though sometimes I'm moved by the music, and I just got to remind myself that if someone needs to hold this thing together, you know, it's for me. But it's sometimes it is hard, you know. It's a big event. You know, I've been carrying this thing through, you know, and then to be able to get here and have a sold-out concert in a big venue with a great composer, a large work like 12 movements, over 200 people. It's a big deal, you know. But I got to focus on the music, and yeah, see if I can, see if I'm able to.
Getting to this point right before the concert right now has just become very real. And this is actually the Texas premiere. This is like the fourth time for it to be performed, and to get to do it at ASU. No other university in the entire state has had this opportunity.
I mean, there are a few spots where we'll take a deep breath and hope it all holds together. But that's the beauty of live music making. There's risk involved with this, but the reward is great because the risk is great. If all we wanted to do was produce a recording, we wouldn't have an audience and the energy of the room. And, you know, you got to be in the room where it happens at the time where it happens. And then it unfolds for 70 minutes and then it's gone, you know. You can't show up a little late and hope to hear it again or something. That's the magic of live music making, so it's exciting.
Good evening, and welcome to the 10th anniversary concert of the Angelo State Symphony Orchestra. I normally don't like doing opening remarks before playing or conducting, but I think this is a special concert that deserves that. This evening is not just a concert, it's a celebration of all that we have accomplished together as an orchestra, as a university, and also as a community. I think putting this project together speaks to the power of music and how music can work to bring people together, to put a performance of this size together, and also connecting with the audience that is going to attend here, and so we can share this and have this moment of unity where we're sharing the music, we're enjoying the performance and dance vision for this music that is great, and we're very excited to share.